Okay, welcome
Mhm.
everyone. Welcome. This is another one of our monthly HeartPowered Speaking community calls. And everyone that's been here with us, you know that every month we get together, we introduce you to an amazing expert guest, and who shares their insights with you. But some of you are here for the first time, and you think like, who is Monique, and what is this all the Hot Powered Business platform community. And a part of that is the Hot Powered Speaking community for speakers. I myself have been a speaker for more than 20 years. I've been a paid speaker for more than 20 years. I've been on stages in more than 30 countries. And not only that, we really helped people from all over the world, more than 50 countries, hundreds and hundreds of people, to really amplify the power of their voice, to grow and scale their business, win their freedom and time back, and make a bigger impact in the world. And a lot of them, when they embrace the power of speaking, double, triple, quadruple their income and even more. So you know why you're here, because you want to get your voice and message out there in a greater way. And every month we get together with people that really want to speak from their heart, that want to build not only mind to mind, but heart to heart connection with their audience, with their clients. And we always introduce you to an amazing expert guest. And today it's my special pleasure to introduce to you not just an amazing speaker, not just an amazing entrepreneur expert, but a really deep, dear friend of mine, John. And today we're going to speak about how you really take one of your speeches and you turn it with the power of AI into many, many bits and pieces that you then can turn into speeches, into social media content, into articles, ebooks, books, and everything else. And let me introduce you to this amazing man, John, a really an amazing guy that every time I have a conversation with him, he inspires me. I always pick up hints and tips. And John is really a powerhouse when it comes to amplifying your message and transforming it into content that connects, engages, and inspires. With over 300 businesses around 4 continents benefiting from his expertise, he has mastered the art of using automation. He is really taking the fear out of the tech stuff in so many ways. He has mastered the art of using automation, AI-driven strategies, and cutting-edge tools to help thought leaders just like you turn their signature talks into a treasure trove of content. And again, you can then use it for blogs, for social media posts, videos, and so much more, creating a ripple effect of influence. Today, John is here with us because he will walk us through actionable insights on how to streamline our content and our content creation process, scale our reach, and do it all without losing authenticity and connection. This is all what we want, right? Whether you're just starting or looking to elevate your game, John is here to show us how to turn our voices into movements. So, welcome, John. Great to have you. Welcome, and welcome all of you. It's amazing that you take the time to be with us today. Welcome.
Amazing. Fantastic. Thank you, Monique, for that awesome introduction. I'll do my absolute best to live up to it. And welcome to all of you. Lovely to have you guys all here. We're going to have about 40 minutes of content and about 15 minutes of Q&A. And let's just jump straight in. So sharing's not turned on. If you can just give me sharing permission, Monique, I'd love to share my screen. And let's just show of hands, who is a speaker in the room? He's a speaker. Amazing. Good stuff. Yeah, you're getting there. You're getting there. All right, amazing. Let's go. That fantastic. You guys are in great company. Monique is an absolute powerhouse in terms of getting your message out of you out into the world. So let's just go. If I could just quickly, a nice small crowd. I've got quite a lot of content to get through. So if you guys could just drop your LinkedIn profiles in the chat, then it'll really just help me contextualize. Fortunately, I know quite a few of you already. But is anyone not a speaker yet? Nobody. All right, fantastic. All right, except for Susan. Susan works with me, by the way. And a lot of what I'm going to show you today is actually Susan's genius that I just get to take the credit for. All right. So Susan's on my team, and we help speaker coaches give their gifts at scale, turn your message into money. All right. So agenda, we'll talk a little bit about me. We'll set the scene in terms of where you are in the journey and how AI can help amplify you to get your goals. And we'll talk about some practical applications. Cool. So why me? A little bit about my background. One of my earliest memories is this kind of jewelry box that my mom had that had was like all this like necklaces and stuff that used to get all like tangled up. And I used to love just untangling all of that stuff and getting it all straight. 20 years later of digital marketing agency experience, I feel like I'm still doing that with all the tech. We've got business, you over here, your business over here, and in the middle, stuff. And I love disconnecting the stuff. So what we're sitting with is an opportunity to turn your content that you're creating into an amplified voice to help you achieve your goals. So as I already said, I've already done quite a bit of stuff. I've worked with about 500 clients over 4 continents, generated over 300,000 leads, created and hosted more than 300 live events. And really, what I really want to help is help you leverage your message so that you can impact the world. Now, I'm going to go through this a little bit quite quickly because I want us to get to the practical stuff. But for you to get really cool stuff from today, I'd love it if you guys have if you have a piece of paper, I'd love you to just make 3 lines on it, 2 lines on it like this. Okay. And on the left-hand side, what I want you to write, just literally in 60 seconds, is what are your goals? Okay. So, your big why. Because everything that you do in your speech is going to basically help people move them from where they are to where they want to be. And the reason your goals are so important is that anything I'm going to share with you needs to help you get to where you want to be. So we have your goals on the right, on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side is your current reality. And my role in this is to add things in the middle. Okay, so are you guys clear? I mean, you guys are a speaker community. Are you guys clear on your goals, where you want to be in the next 12 months? Not so much. Okay, if you were clear, if I gave you 30 minutes to say 30 seconds and you could write down something, if you write it down, it's 100% going to happen. Is there a stage that you want to be on? Is there an income level that you want to reach? Because I can give you all of the information, but if you don't have a reason to implement this, it's not going to happen. Because especially once I open, the toy box of AI stuff, there's an infinite amount of possibility of things that you could be doing, right? But this is only going to be useful to you in as much as it helps you get where you want to go. So you can do this for yourself, current reality and desired reality, and in the middle, useful stuff. But it's also going to be useful for your clients, where they are, where they want to be, and what you're sharing with your message is stuff in the middle to help them get to where they want to be. So this is my level best to auto complete the middle bit of where you are and where you want to be. Having worked with close to 150 speaker coaches, and I say speaker coaches because people like you that have a message that want to get it out there. The road from where you all want to be tends to be, 3 things. I want to make more money. I want to have more time to do what I want, and I want to make an impact on the world. Right? So the journey, as close as I can understand it, is level 1, make some money. Level 2 is use the money to invest in systems to buy back your time. And level 3 is use those systems to impact the world. Okay. And the order is quite important here, because one of the wonderful things about this is that making people try and build the systems first without having this nailed down, right? So if you try and automate before you know what you're automating and for who, you end up running talk about money. And money, really, you don't need a lot of tech to make money. What you need is people that you can have powerful conversations with and make an offer. You don't need marketing. You don't need any of this stuff. But the problem is, over this bridge over here, there's the awkwardness monster that lives over here. And man alive, who loves having sales conversations? Who loves asking people for money? You can see Monique? Amazing. Okay. All right. Cool. And that's why Monique is so abundant, right? Because once you start to love to be of service, it's easy to then say, would you like help with that? And this is what help looks like, and this is what help costs. And that's what your signature solution is. That's what your offer is. Your offer is a potent combination of product, services, experiences that makes it almost impossible for your clients not to achieve their goals. It makes it inevitable that your clients achieve their goals. And if you're excited about that, it becomes much easier to be of service, right? But on the marketing side over here, there's like the siren that lives on a lighthouse, and it's like going, ooh, shiny thing, shiny thing, shiny thing. So what happens is we start on the journey, we go, ooh, I want to make some money, but ooh, this conversation is a little bit awkward. So we'll go play with the shiny stuff, right? All right. Instead of avoiding the conversations, you can kind of ping pong. So this is why I want to just, before I show you all the fun stuff, I want to just set the scene to make sure that what we're amplifying is something that's going to drive people towards a system that generates you money. This by itself is not going to make money unless it helps get attention for a service that you do for money. So that's when are we clear on the mission here and on the context? Because I'm going to show you lots of fun stuff that we can be doing, but I want to make sure it doesn't land as a shiny new thing to play with. It's a way of getting attention for something that makes you money. And the way you make money is to be of service to humans. So my little soapbox up little speech there, but are we clear? Do we see the mission? Do we see the journey? Fantastic. All right, now we can proceed. So as a speaker, so this is your kind of journey of building this is one of the things I help build for speakers, is this bridge to say, where are you? Where do you want to be? And then build a bridge to help you go up the mountain. So I'm going to presuppose that there's a bunch of work. As speakers, you've already done a whole bunch of groundwork to get you to a point where this is going to make sense. So you already know what your message is. You already know what your offer is, because your offer is something that helps your ideal target get from where they are to where they want to be. You've developed a program that delivers on the offer. You have a presentation that sells the program. You have an audience that you can speak to people, and you know how to do a live presentation, because the live presentation is to an audience that has a problem that you solve with an offer. We're clear on the context. So the title of the presentation is How to Turn Your Signature Solution into Irresistible Content. And the reason that this is so cool, the reason you guys are in a disproportionate, like you have like an unfair advantage as a speaker, is if you have the presentation, embedded in the presentation is all this good work. The seeds of amazing content already embedded inside it. Okay, because when you create AI for content, the quality of your content, the quality of an AI is directly proportional to the quality of the training data. Okay, so if you're trying to get an AI to recognize cats, you have to have good quality pictures of cats that don't contain dogs, people, balls of fluff. Otherwise, the AI starts to think, hey, a ball of fluff is always next to a cat, therefore the ball of fluff is a cat. Not so much. So I'm not going to get too much into the tech, but what's really cool is your live presentation is so potent, because you've done all of this work to be clear on your audience, that the seeds of that have got some really, really cool things in it that you can make irresistible content for your audience. You excited? Do you see the opportunity? Yes, me too. All right. So I'm going to go flash forward a little bit of the journey of how we got here, just so we can set the context. All right. So you are here. You want to be there. You know, this is your customer. They are there. They want to be there. In the middle, in the way, stuff. But also stuff that they're worried about, practical stuff. And in front of them, they've also got, I call this octopus number one, right? Your audience has got this particular challenge that's sitting right in front of them. All right, I call this octopus number one, because often your audience can't see the content they can't see even the fundamental problems, but what they can see is the thing that's in front of them. Okay, so your process is you're helping people, give them a new way. You're helping them overcome their head trash. You give them a kick up the ass, right? Some enthusiasm to get going, creating some dissatisfaction with where they're currently at and getting them moving, right? So this is the whole function of your signature talk, is to get people moving, okay? And once they're moving, what they're moving into is your system, your process, that your amazing offer, your attraction system that gets leads, the sales system that converts them into customers, the onboarding system which gets them going, the delivery system, which delivers the results, and the data system, which collects data, which feeds back into your offer to make your offer better, your marketing cleaner, your sales better, your sales more evidence-based, your onboarding better. You see how this all fits together. Okay, so our content over there fits over there. Now, so because of all of that, these are the ingredients that you already have. You have a customer, you have money that wants to move, you know their goals, you identify their problems, you've got all this in the order, you've created the solutions, and you've got cool names for the milestones and an explanatory diagram. So this is all the groundwork that we've done to get to the event. If you haven't done any of all of this stuff, Monique has an amazing program that'll help you get all of that handled. Right? Okay. Some of you guys are already on Monique's program. You know that her program is in terms of the delivery system to turn you into a speaker, she's got the goods. So what we'll talk about now is how do we turn all of that goodness and get them moving, right? So if you think about your prospect, your audience is out there on the internet, doom scrolling, going, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? What is this problem that I have? And I just want to see, so Ram Prasad is a speaker, Christian, Tracy. All right. So I think if you guys can just put in the chat for your target audience, what is the problem that they're facing? All right. What is octopus number one for them? Is it they're frustrated at work? Is it that their health is bad? Is it that their relationships are bad? Is it that they know what they need to do, but they can't get it done? So what your content does is it allows you to show up for them as the answer to the problem. Okay, so we've set the scene. Are you guys clear where we are at in the mission and what the content is for? Woohoo. Should we play with some cool AI stuff? Do you want to see the fun things? Yeah. Cool, amazing. This is what we came here for. Octopus number one. Need to get a grip of their IT organization. Yes, please. Costs are spiraling. Their business is stuck with decreasing in revenue. Oh, man. They need help with their leadership skills. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Christian, I advise you to go, a little bit deeper. They need help with their leadership skills. Is it like, team members are not performing and I don't know how to fix it? It's my wife's anniversary and I have to keep on answering the damn phone because my staff member is not, they can't, is not fulfilling his responsibility. Okay, like that's octopus number one. Like it's the visible piece of that. Okay. So the challenge here is, with all that in place, how do we show up for our audience? So how do we get this done? So here's the map, and I will also say, because I'm all about transparency, so that this is what I'm going to show you is my best understanding of a very fast-moving landscape. And I'm going to peel back and show you very clearly this is where I am at in terms of mapping all of this out. But I love frameworks. So here's the framework. That from where you are here to irresistible content, it's basically three levels of there's three kinds of content. There's text, there's image, and there's video. So we're going to start with text, 3 levels. I'm going to start by helping you define the challenge, like just plain English, what are we trying to do? Then I'm going to show you a tool set that will allow you to solve the problem and where you can experiment with this. Once you have the tool set, I'll show you how you can embed that tool set into an automation to make this happen without you having to be involved anymore. Does this sound cool? Does this sound exciting? All right. So I'm going to start very simply with text. We'll start with text, extract cool stuff from text. How do we get this into, how do we build all the prompts around that? And then how do we take the prompts and delegate them to systems so that happens? We'll talk similarly with images, and we'll talk similarly with video, and I'll show you some of the tools that I think are, or I wouldn't say the best because I don't believe in objective truth, but I will say these are my favorites. My experience of what my favorites are in terms of doing all of this stuff. So, sound fun? You guys ready to strap in? Should we do some cool AI stuff? Cool. All right. So I also say when you start doing, in PowerPoint, everything looks clean and easy. When you get into real life, it's always more interesting. But I love it. I'd rather show you the real stuff than, the sanitized PowerPoint version. So let's go. So challenge number 1. let's just get this, is turning text into useful stuff. Right. So the context, do you guys use something like, so if you've done a speech, you will have the transcript. With me so far? Okay, so you guys use AI, somewhere like Fathom or something like that, or Zoom that gets the transcripts. Okay, so you guys got that piece. Okay, so you can go into any one of these and you can go and pick up the transcript. So what I did, I created one a while back. And I'll use a very specific example, which was on the 17th of October. I did a webinar, a signature solution, ironically called How to Scale Your Coaching Business with a Signature Solution. All right, scale your coaching business with a signature solution. So here's my transcript. Happy days. All right. And the reason I love, love this. So there we go. I'm going to copy our transcript. Happy days. We're going to go into ChatGPT. And you guys all use ChatGPT? Anyone not use ChatGPT? Anyone live under a rock, not use ChatGPT? All right. I'm curious, are any of you guys using the paid version? All right. Yeah. Cool. All right. So most of the stuff I'm going to be using, and it's pretty wild, using the, like the free version, compared to I'm going to show you what happens if you spend a little bit of money on some of the stuff. It's really quite wild what's happening. Cool. So what we're going to help you with, and I'm going to start literally right from the get-go. This is a plain chat. I haven't pre-configured a GPT or anything like this. But what I prepared earlier, let's just do this, is we're going to say, all right, we'll just start right from the beginning and say, I recently presented this webinar. Here's the transcript. Please create, please extract the key insights that I can. Let me just make sure we get this on. Copy transcript. Okay. I managed to paste my own bio in as opposed to the prompts. Okay, so far so good. All right, so here, like this is, nothing particularly clever here. But the reason I wanted to show you this is that even though I haven't put anything particularly clever in here, the cleverness is in the transcript, right? There's so much goodness that's been put into the transcript that this is actually pretty decent in terms of the presentation that I did. Right. So like, okay, so that's pretty cool. Level 1, that's not bad. If we did level 2, so if we think of our 3-step framework, so level 1 is like just defining the challenge. Level 2 is let's look at some of the tools that we can use to start getting this done. So level 2 is now we can say, and I'm just going to use some of the prompts that I did earlier so that I don't have to retype all of this stuff. Okay. Okay. So this is something that's here's a post with a little bit more. Here's a prompt with a little bit more structure. You're an expert LinkedIn content writer. I want to create 10 posts for LinkedIn to provide interesting points of discussion. End goal is to create leads via DMs. Your job is to create highly engaging LinkedIn posts that will generate comments. This must not be generic, but truly out of the box and provoking. You'll provide me with the post in a downloadable CSV, which is quite interesting. The post will be in one column, and an image prompt for the AI generator should be in the next column. The image prompt should be in this format: brief description, setting, descriptive word, camera type, and post-processing technique. So I'm starting to leak how we can transition this into image. Right, but let's just take this step by step. All right, so let's just do this bit without any of the downloadables. Let's just get the text right, because if we get the text right, it starts to give us the shape to the images. Okay, now I say great. Make sure that you extract these from. I'm noticing like it's just done some quite generic ones, and I'm like, I don't want the generic ones. Go back and look at the damn webinar. This is more like it. Scaling with automation, niching down, the power of AI in business, the role of coaches in tech, overcoming growth plateaus. Yeah, this is quite interesting. Okay, so these are not bad, but they're like catchy one-liners. Okay, I like things with a little bit more meat. So we can take this and say, great. I mean, I look at this stuff and I'm just like, oh my God, like we live in an age of miracles. Like, how long did this stuff used to take? All right, this is better. So this is more my kind of style. Like, I like to have something with a little bit of depth to it, like something that's actually thought-provoking. Okay, fantastic. So far, so good. Like, we're now starting to get to something that looks a little bit more like useful content. Yeah? Like, you could start to get something that actually just does something now. Can you go in and edit this? Absolutely. Can you go and add a personal story to this? Absolutely. But what the beautiful thing is that because it's connected to stories I actually tell, a lot of the stuff is actually things that I would, like I have actually said. Like the future of the coaching industry, I really think that, the growth plateau, the role of coaching in tech, power of AI in business, niching down is something I'm absolutely fanatical about, right? Because especially with the tool set that we have, you can solve almost any problem. But if you keep switching your context between different client types, you don't get the depth to be able to really create sequences of solutions and map out not just one problem, but the sequence of problems that you solve, problem after problem after problem for your client. And it almost seems as if you have like it seems like you can see the future, because each problem that they solve, that you solve for a problem, you know what the problems that they're going to face afterwards. Okay, right. So now we can go and shape the language, but I think you guys have got some reasonable experience with ChatGPT. Yeah. So I'm not showing you anything new and exciting just yet. You're like, cool, like it's novel, like it's cool, it's interesting. But let's take this to another level. So there's two directions that we can go now. So the next step is, so now we've seen what the work looks like. Cool. Now what I'd like to do is be able to take this and be able to automate this and push this forward into some kind of content distribution system. Okay, so let's flash forward for the sequences of time. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time massaging the text to get it to be. So do you guys use some kind of social media scheduling tool? Some kind of social media management? Cool. Jobin, Buffer, you're using Buffer. Amazing. Anyone else? Cool. All right. So I use one called, this is the software I use for just about everything. It's called Go High Level. It's got a whole bunch of stuff in it, but one of the things it has is a social media posting platform. So if we go marketing, we can see some kind of social media posting. Now, it really doesn't matter which one you use. because the cool thing is most of them will allow you to upload via a CSV. Okay, so Jobin, you've seen the facility and buffer to upload a CSV to pre-schedule your posts. Okay, you'll probably find it, it's there. So if we have a look at this, this will be in a specific format. Okay, so we can look at ChatGPT. Let me just get my, I think I was a little bit fanatical in closing. I wanted to close all my tabs before the, so that things wouldn't be slower. Then I cleared all of them. All right, but you can see CSV import. All right, so this is a CSV format of what this uploader looks like. Yeah, so this is a CSV file, and you can see okay. You guys are familiar with CSV files? All right, yes. So what you can see is you've got there's the content, there's a link if there is one, there's your image URLs, and then you'll also have, if you have any video URLs on there. Okay. So the nice thing is you don't really have to understand that. ChatGPT can understand that. So I'll say, cool. Fantastic. Fantastic. I want to upload these to my social media scheduler as CSV. I will send you the file. This is pretty wild. Okay, great. Yeah, please send it to me. Right, formatted LinkedIn posts. Let's just go. Boom. So I'm going to take this and let's pop that in there. Boom. Yeah, thanks for uploading the file. But now it's going to analyze the file. It's structured. Yeah, of course. This is the great. For now, I'll create a sample scheduling thing from the date, and you can modify these dates. Let's proceed by filling up for the LinkedIn posts. Now it's busy populating the CSV with the LinkedIn posts. Pretty wild, right? So we've taken our ideas. So if you remember our 3x3 matrix, we started with, hey, I've got a crazy idea. Let's take LinkedIn. Let's take my speech text and create LinkedIn posts. We took it from there to extracting the posts, putting them into different. You can massage the text in ChatGPT. But once you're happy with it, we can then take it to the next level and schedule it, so that you can take in a couple of minutes some really interesting posts and upload them into your scheduler and create content for the next 2 months, 6 months, however long you want to do it. All right. Okay. Previous code because the start date wasn't defined. Let's correct that. Woohoo! Okay, so it's on the 4 posts scheduled once a week starting on the 27th of December. Let's update that. And there's the CSV. You're ready. Now, of course, what's wonderful is you can go back and go, oh, you know what? Actually, what I want to do is I want to start next week, Wednesday, and I want to do it every second Thursday, adjust the dates, it'll go in and do it. Wild. So what we can now do is download the CSV. Pretty wild. Download the CSV and then upload the CSV into your favorite social media software and pre-create that software schedule, the schedule. Pretty crazy, huh? The stuff that's like living in the future. Okay. So, but wait, I hear you say, what about images? You said we could do images, John. Yes, of course we can do images. So let's go back into images and say, this is great, but love to have some images. Suggest an image prompt for each of the posts. Now, the reason I say image prompts is I want to do, so you see what it's giving us is an image prompt to go with each of the posts. I haven't got it to create the images yet. I just wanted to do the image prompts.
John, do you
Yes.
mind just taking a little moment because I have a sense and I'm getting a message from Thomas saying like he's a little bit lost in the process. Can you just again, just to make sure everyone is still in the game with us, just summarize the steps we've taken so far so people know where in the process we are right now.
Fantastic. Cool. You lost me in the process, not to mention the two. Okay, fantastic. All right. I really geek out on this stuff and I want, there's a lot. So I'm like, oh, I want to show you all the fun things. Okay, so just to rewind, because you can really get, start right from the back. So we start right from the beginning and say, extract first challenge. Hey, I've got a crazy idea. Let's extract cool text from the words that I say in a signature solution. With me so far?
So does that mean if someone has a speech, they could just take the speech and or the transcript of the speech, and then this would be their starting point? That's pretty much what you're saying, right?
Exactly.
Thomas,
Right.
yeah? Okay. So you have a speech, you transcribe the speech, and that text from that speech is your starting point. Okay. Good.
Yep.
Keep going, John. Just to make sure
Gotcha.
we have everyone on the journey with us. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much for keeping me right. Because really, I'm here to be of service to you guys. So, right. So then we said, okay, so if we're going to do that, we need to solve this problem. Like, how do you actually turn text into cool posts? So what I've been doing with ChatGPT is uploading the text and then experimenting with different prompts until it gets the posts the way I like them.
Yeah.
And you see, it took a couple of different iterations and experimentation to go, maybe do it this way, maybe do it that way, maybe do it this way, until you get to the point where you're like, okay, cool. Now I know what sequence of steps actually gets prompts that I like.
Exactly. And all of you, okay, even if you feel a little bit lost in the process, it's normal when you're doing it the first time. Okay. The good news is this session is recorded. Okay. You can all go back and look at what prompts did John use. What words did you use? Which prompts did you use to go through the process? Okay. John, continue.
Fantastic. I'll also share with you the exact chat that we're using in this presentation, because in ChatGPT you can share the chat, so you can actually get the exact things that I created.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, and it's important that you do this intermediate manual step so that you can actually see which prompts and kind of wrestle with it to get it into a shape that works for you. Okay. Because the next step, once you know what good looks like, we can then use the AI to extract that and to put it into some kind of automator, which will then autocomplete based on what we've kind of teed it up to do.
Which means, just to translate it for everyone here, is that you take like what the text that ChatGPT created out of your original speaking script, okay? And then you take that text, ChatGPT created, and then again, you can fine tune the text playing with ChatGPT saying, oh, this text I don't like, write it in a different way until you have a text that you're happy. Check the final text for, let's say, a LinkedIn post. And then you put that text into a tool that will help you to create the post on social media. Okay, so that is the social media scheduler tool. Okay, some people use Buffer, as we saw here in the chat. Go High Level is the one you use, John, right? And there's many other social media scheduling tools. So you copy the text from the ChatGPT into a social media scheduling tool. John, take the next step.
Fantastic. Good stuff. So just show of hands, how comfortable are the rest of you guys with automation? Building sequences in fantastic. So, all right. So it's kind of a mixed audience. All right. So, right. So there's going to be some stuff, depending on where you are in the journey. What I encourage you to take from this is the entire presentation is just like a 5% improvement in wherever you are now.
Mhm.
So if you're doing really, really cool stuff, if you're comfortable with automation, I will have something for you. If you're just getting started, don't worry about the automation stuff. Just look for, find where you are on the journey and work there. There's leverage available at every step of the journey.
Right. Okay,
Uh,
Thomas and everyone else, let us know in the chat if we brought you back into the picture, you know exactly where you are. And then John, continue.
okay, fantastic. All right, so we're at transcripts in ChatGPT, and then from there you can automate that depending on where you are in your journey. If you're using some kind of a scheduler, you could use it. You could pop that into your scheduler, or you can use an automation. There's different codeless automation programs. For example, make.com or Zapier, or there's a couple of others, and I'll show you some for when we get to video. I'll show you some really, really powerful stuff on the video space. Okay. Now, Christian made a question around here that says, you got two questions.
John, let's finish your presentation and then we
All
answer.
right.
How about
okay.
that?
Fantastic. All right. Oh, wow, we got time. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe another 5 minutes or so we have some time for answering questions as well.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. So I'm going to go quite quickly just through the rest of this, just so you can kind of see. Cool. So you can see we've got the prompts over here for the images. We can go ahead and just say, create the images. The images, please. Boom. Now, if you're just getting started, this is a great place to start to say, so you could just go and look at these and create the images and say, maybe tweak that a little bit. But what you can see is it's actually creating the images for each of the posts that I've asked it for. Okay. Now, so if that's where you are on the journey, fantastic. If you're a little bit further along in the journey, you will notice that some of the image you guys could probably recognize AI generated images, right? Okay, because this is like this chat GPT thing is really caught on. So if you're a little bit more advanced, there are other chat GPT is just one image generation model. There are a bunch of them that you can play with. This is like a bit of an advanced tip. If you want to play with the other models, this tool called Magi, majai.co, allows you to have one subscription, and you can create. So this is more if you're really into this stuff. Create an image, but experiment with most of the different image creation platforms with one subscription. It's like $19 a month to have one subscription for Magi, and you can do all of these things. The other thing it does, this is for an advanced thing, is you'll notice different AIs have got different or good at different things. If you want photorealistic, for example, FluxPlo Ultra is really cool. And then also the way you create an image prompt, you have a lot more detail available. So you can see that's a very basic image prompt. If you press this button over here, it will enhance it to give you some of the advanced features. So, you can get really deep into how you structure an image prompt, even to the point of, the photographic terminology, even down to you can specify different camera types and it will synthesize the image based on the camera type. Like, it's wild what's possible. So this will if you're interested in creating images, Magi is a fantastic way to really get deep into making really fancy software, really fancy images. I'm just going to get it to reshuffle the prompts. You learn very quickly. You can either go and study prompt engineering or just fill a mechanoid, I don't know, futuristic hand. And you can see, if you go to your library, here, you can create some pretty wild prompts. So this was a photo. This is what I did earlier. So there's an image, and you can see this is actually quite, quite realistic looking. And you could even create video based on the image. Right. So that was a prompt that I created here. I then gave it another video to say, take that image and turn a video of him getting up, looking out the window, and then leaning back down again. pretty wild to go with your prompt engineering. Okay. Last one I'll show you, just because we're running out of time, is if you just want to go and do the same thing with video, the Opus is a really fun way of uploading, so the work with making content from images, from video, is look at the video, find out which timestamps make good clips, edit those, copy them out, re-edit them, put captions in, and then decide where to post them. What I did is I uploaded that same talk that I did the transcript from, and it analyzed it and created these sample clips. Right. So you'll recognize this thing with the two, you are over here and you want to be over here. So that it found that as a snippet. You can then go and edit the clip. Right, so this took me, I uploaded it, I waited 12 minutes, it came back with this. It identified all the clips, and I can see over there, you're over here, you want to be over there. This is, I said country reality, this is desired reality. Right, so there you are. And if I decide, there's a bit of an or something like that, you can use AI to remove all filter words, remove pauses. If you've ever used Descript, you'll recognize the ability to edit the video based on the text. So if there's something I said, for example, like at one point in the presentation, someone's video started playing in the background. Someone got a phone call. It's for like 15 seconds. I could just select that piece over there and just say remove that piece of video from the clip. And as soon as that's done, you can connect all your social media platforms. And from here, let's go over here. And let's go publish on social. And it's published on social. I've decided to put it to my LinkedIn, to Instagram. And they had suggested a post. For the sake of a simple laugh, I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to send it so that you guys can see what this looks like. But we're publishing this now, and it should be live in a couple of minutes. Okay, so that was a whirlwind tour through what's available in terms of the whole AI landscape, from taking your signature solution and turning it into loads and loads of content. I appreciate I've shared a lot with you. How much of this you use is going to be very contextual to where you are. So for that reason, I don't expect you to do everything. But if you do want to find out more about how this can be applied to your specific situation, please book a call with me. I'd love to help you really apply this to where you're at in your journey, and then see how you can share your message with the world and get paid to deliver your gift at scale. With 5 minutes to go, I will end the formal part of my presentation there and ask if there's any more questions.
Great. I think we had a couple of questions earlier up. I think we had one, for example. Give me a second. Let me find it now. From Christian, you can also unmute yourself and jump in and ask a question if you like.
My first question was, could you use your own text for GPT as reference so he copies your style of writing?
Yeah. So you can, so the whole thing of getting AI to sound like you is the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I like to reverse engineer so if you just use the transcript of the speech you actually gave, it short circuits a lot of that because it just takes it straight from there. If you wanted to do this on an ongoing basis, what I would do is get a clean piece of text that sounds like you, upload that and say, I want to create a prompt that will write like this piece of text. Give me the style guidelines from the writing style. Cool. So it's tone, it's structure, it's cadence, there's all like words that would describe that. And it's like, you gotta learn all that, or just go, hey, I want to sound like this. Give me the brief. And then in your chat GPT, you can actually configure it. If you create a custom GPT, you can create a custom instance that says, right, the Christian Singer Oracle, and say, when I type this, always use this as the tone, and it will always write like that.
That's cool.
The other question you had about LinkedIn is, 100%. LinkedIn's a funny place. They're changing all kinds of stuff. Microsoft have this weird habit of buying stuff and then making it worse. But But yeah, I definitely think when you start applying this, a good way to think about this is decide what your primary channel is that you want to create content for that, create content for that, and then use the AI to repurpose that to the other places you don't care so much about. Right.
So I write for LinkedIn, and I could adopt this for, I don't know, TikTok, Facebook, whatever.
Exactly. There's another tool I wanted to show you guys called repurpose.io, which is like a mixing desk for content that you can you connect all your social media platforms, and you can say, when I post here, take this and move it there. Repurpose.io. So that way, you just write. Like if LinkedIn's your favorite channel, do only manual, but then use the automation tools to leverage that to repurpose it to other places. Cool. Other questions? I know we've got 3 minutes to go. I'm just going to share the call to action slide.
If there's a question, just unmute yourself and jump in or put it into the chat. So again, this is your opportunity. I know it was a little bit of a roller coaster ride, right? For some of you, it might be pretty new and fresh. For some of you, you might just have picked up additional hints and tips as you're doing a lot of that stuff possibly already. But this is your opportunity to pick John's brain and my brain. So any other questions you have right now on how to really use any piece of content and turn that into smaller elements so you can, really use it, reuse it, reproduce it in another form to get it out there. I think it's just a brilliant way of you multiplying what you're creating, because a lot of people always say to me, Monique, it takes so much time to write these posts, to write articles, to create new speeches and so on. The good news is you don't need to. You can just take one piece and turn it into many pieces and put them back together in a new way. And again, your audience will appreciate it, because often the most genius ideas, we don't need to hear it once. We want to hear it again and again and again until it really lands and we really do something with it and get the results we want, right? So there's another great question from Jobin saying, how often do you need to repeat your message before it lands? Jobin, honestly, there's no number on this, but I can tell you that sometimes, and it's probably your experience as well, as speakers, as experts, as entrepreneurs, as mentors, as coaches, and whatever else you do, sometimes I say something to my clients 10 times, 50 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, and then it clicks. And sometimes they hear it from someone else in a different moment with maybe slightly different words, and they say, oh my God, I learned something new. And I say, well, I said it to you already 1,000 of times. I will never say that, right? But sometimes you just need, there's no number on that, Jobin. Sometimes we hear something once and it sinks in right away. Sometimes we need to hear things 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, 100 times until we really understand, based on our evolving experience and reality, that we suddenly start understanding something. So it's like, if you think about it, maybe you read a book, okay, and you read a book again and you say, oh my God, I read this book. Maybe you even read it a 3rd time. You think like, what is this in this book? Was this in this book all along? I never read that before, right? Or the same like when you watch a video, right? Or a movie, you say, oh, I watched this movie before, but this person said this to this other person. I'd never heard this before, right? This is just an example of we pick up information, not necessarily the first time. Sometimes it takes several times. So you can easily take your content, put it back together many times over, okay? And again, the connection of different pieces of content will change, right? So, yeah. So I hope that helps. I hope that answers your question. Okay. Jobin, you want to? Of course, go ahead.
I have quite like a case that might help to bring this up. So I organize online conferences. I notice that speakers sometimes speak too quickly.
Okay.
And I've made a handout for our clients who convene all these speakers with tips on what they should do to make sure that our interpreters can translate the message that this person is conveying in French or Spanish. So I've made a handout. I would like to share this broadly because I want to have impact.
Yes,
But
great.
normally I will just post this once. Maybe I now made like a small animation as well through Fiverr to share this. But I would normally only make 2 posts and then maybe refer back to it a bit later, and that's it. And the
Okay.
sell that I want to make is, okay, hire our interpreters, hire us to organize your online conference. But I don't know, how often do you post this and how do you spread this over time? I know how to automate it, but
Okay.
what are your thoughts?
I love it. Such a great question. It summarized the whole conversation from today. I love it. Okay. So I hope, Jobin, that John and I inspired you now to take that content and turn it into smaller pieces and use it again and again and again. So let's say, I don't know exactly what your presentation looks like or what your handout looks like, but let's say you say, hey, these are the 10 steps to whatever your topic is, right? And again, you can take actually every single one of these steps and turn every single step into an individual post. You can also take then step 1 and step 3, or any combination of any step with any other step, and again, make that another post again. Okay. For example, maybe for all of you to understand it better, maybe I take a concrete example on my side. Okay. So we are running a 3-month program on how to go professional with your speaking. There's 8 activators, okay, on how you go professional with your speaking. One thing is you need to get clear on why you want to be a professional speaker. Another one is, and not in this order, but another one is you need to really be crystal clear on what is your unique story. Another one is on what is your unique topic that makes you stand out as a speaker and expert in your field. Another one is how, what's the right audience, right? And so on. What's the right stage? How do you position yourself as a speaker, right? And each of these points has a lot of subpoints. So for example, if it's all about like, what is your unique story, then there is like a concept of how you craft a story that doesn't only connect with your audience from mind to mind, but also heart to heart. So what I could do is I could create a post, around the whole speaker program as a whole. I could create a post on every step on how you go professional with your speaking. I could go even in more detail and speak about if you want to craft a story, okay, one part of the story is defining a trigger in your story first that created a conflict that is the starting point of your story. I could create a post around that, okay? So again, you just put different detail levels together to create additional pieces of content. I could also talk about, on the 8 steps of how to go professional with your speaking, I could speak about, how do you use your story to connect with your audience in the best way. So I'm taking 2 elements of the professional speaker's launch journey and combine them in a new way. You see, Jobin? And that gives you almost an unlimited number of opportunities to post about, about this conference and the content that you share at the conference, right? So again, and you can do that not only before the conference, you can do it long before you run the conference, while you're running the conference, and long after. And you can keep putting this content together again and again and again in a new way. Does that make it even more clear, Jobin and everyone? Can you see a thumb up? Yeah? Was that helpful with a concrete example? Okay. So, okay. Okay, and I love what John is saying here, right? You need to, again, way more posts than you think you need. So again, we think that we are bothering people, is what John is saying here as well, by posting too much. But the thing is, most people don't even pay attention a lot to what we are posting. We have some people that read every single one of our posts because they feel they're getting a lot of value from what we are sharing. But then there's some people that check in once a week, or once a month, or every 3 months. And even people that are reading every single post or article or ebook or in whatever form we share it, again, we always say, like, there's this beautiful saying which is saying, no man, there's never like the same man steps into the same river. Why? The man changes and the river changes. So meaning that today we read something from our current reality. Today we have certain questions, then we have another experience, then the questions we are asking is changing. Okay? So again, we change all the time, and how we take in information changes all the time, and the river is your flow of content. So today, I will not read one post from the same level of consciousness as I read it yesterday. Because maybe in the meantime, I had an experience that changed my view on what I think is right or wrong, or what I want to achieve in an entirely different way. Yes? I hope I'm not actually getting too abstract for you, but we change and our content changes, okay? And people change and the way they read our content changes. So it can never be the same. So do not ever feel like you're posting too much, because the people that are connected with what you're sharing will always love to see something again and again and again. You can trust that every single day they read it, they will see it in a different way. Okay. And I, already more than 12 years ago, I started a podcast. Okay. Within 5-6 months, I had 20,000 listeners. Okay. And I thought like, oh my God, I cannot share that stuff again and again. But here's the thing, even back then and, even today, right? They say like you can share exactly the same podcast, exactly the same piece of information 7 to 8 times on social media before anyone really realizes that this was already there before. Okay. But once you then take one of these podcast episodes and you turn them into smaller bits and pieces, and you maybe even add an additional, you change the language a little bit, you add one additional perspective or one additional piece of point there, again, people feel like it's entirely brand new. Let me give you another example from the world of speaking. All of you have probably heard speakers 5 or 10 years ago, and you hear them again, and you feel like, oh, everything they said back then, they say again now. Yes, how many of you had that experience? Some speakers choose to share the same content again and again and again, and the audience still does not worry about it, because again, we take in their information that we heard 5 years ago in an entirely different way, because today we have a different understanding. We run a different business, right? We serve the world in a new way. However, the good news is these days, you do not need to give the same speech over and over and over again. Okay? Just yesterday, I ran a session with our Thought Leader Circle membership members on how to put content together every single time in an entirely new way. But use some of the techniques that John has used today and add and recombine your content again and again to always make it look and sound fresh. Okay? And I think John has presented a brilliant process on how to do just that. Okay? So thank you. That was really a great question, Job. And I took a little more longer time to to answer it. But I hope that my examples and really take the fear out of you and hopefully out of all of you, okay, to share your content and again with no limitation of how often you can share something out there. Just use the process and the tools that John has shared today to really tweak and put things back together in a new way, and it will never appear the same anyhow. Okay? So you can actually take one speech and use the speech for a year or 2 or 3 to again and again and again get pieces out of it in a new combination. You will never run out of content ever again. It will make content creation so much easier, faster, and inspiring for your followers. Sounds good? Yeah? Great. Okay, I think we are in a point, John, to round it off. Okay, so is there one final piece of information you would like to give? And before we round it off, also, all of you, please check out my LinkedIn profile. Okay, moniquebloxer.com on LinkedIn. We also run another masterclass tomorrow on how you turn your speaking into paid speaking, how to build a bridge from speaking to getting paid to speak, and not only getting paid to speak, how you get paid 10 times your industry average. Okay, Please check out my LinkedIn profile and find our event, our masterclass there for tomorrow. We really look forward to seeing you there tomorrow. But John, I would like you to run off that session today in your beautiful way. Any final word of inspiration for everyone here that was on the session with us today?
Fantastic. AI is there to amplify your message, not replace your message. So use the tools, but play with them. Think about ways that they're augmenting you, taking your essence and allowing you to position it easily and effortlessly in a lot of different ways. Play with it. Wherever you're at repurposing or automation, remember that what you're ultimately trying to do is make your content more available to humans that need it. We're not trying to dilute your message. We want to amplify it. That's what I'm going with.
Amazing. So I hope this was an encouragement for all of you. And just again, I hope it helps you to embrace the value of your message, the value of your speeches, the value of your content in an entirely different way. Okay. So again, just enjoy playing with it. Okay. As we said, this is recorded, so we'll share the recording with you afterwards. If you feel like, oh my God, they lost me at some point a little bit, or oh my God, I would like to look up that prompt, or I would like to look up that tool, or what did John say about this? The good news is this is recorded, so we'll share the recording with you in the next 1 or 2 days. And thank you, all of you, right? Thomas, Christian, Tracy, Jane, Brendan, everyone that was with us today. Again, embrace the power of your message, embrace the power of your speaking. And again, take the opportunity to use the tools that we have today, especially AI. And, I speak about how to turn your message into movement. I love what John said, take your voice and, amplify your impact, your inspiration, and turn that into a movement. You all can. And we are just here, okay, the HeartPowered Speaking community, to serve you and support you. And I always like to end with the words, go out there in your own unique way, speak up, scale up, and impact the world in your own powerful way, okay? So session in December, but that's a great opportunity for you to catch up into our Hall of Fame library on our website, heartpoweredbusiness.com/events. Okay, check out some of the sessions you might have missed this year, next month, and we look forward to having you back and bringing another. I'd like to really thank you, John, for being on with us today. Thank you for sharing your amazing process, your amazing concept, and these additional hints and tips, suggestions of which tools to use and check out next with my team. Thank you for taking the time being with us today, sharing your wisdom. And thank you all for being with us today. So again, go out there, speak up, scale up, impact the world. We are here with you now.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.